Hello, folks. So here we are, the Struggle Bus, Ep.5. So I think I may have messed up somewhere in the description. I may have put episode 4 or something, but anyway, Episode 5,
I think
the
it's at
Struggle
5.
Bus.
You typed 5.
Okay. Well, I had to retype it a couple times.
Maybe.
But here we are, Episode 5, and obviously the Struggle Bus is real. We ride that dude every day. There's days that sometimes I feel like I'm the daggum driver of the struggle bus. uh, and sometimes in my world, it seems like it's a short bus too. So today, what we're talking about is um, where we struggle individually in our relationship, uh, in our marriage, and with our children. Tiff?
Bye. What?
I'm prompting you to speak.
I don't have any words right now.
It's because she spent the last 15 minutes while we've been setting up, getting ready, aggravating the stew out of me. So I will let you in on this. It's not really much of a secret, but Tiffany gets in these moods and she starts to aggravate. And when she's in an aggravating mood, it is like push your button, like, nonstop. Right?
Yeah.
You admit it, right?
It's kind of fun. I get it from my dad.
Yes. Yep. If you're watching Dennis, yep. She gets it honest.
The worse the mood gets, the more aggravating it is.
Yeah. And
she
can crank it up too. So today on the struggle bus, so the questions that we have, we're just asking each other, let's be honest. Obviously that's what this is about. Where do you struggle? What is your one or two main issues in the relationship? And so Tiffany, you're going first.
Okay.
So what is your main struggle in our relationship with us, you and I?
Currently, the main struggle with you and I is lack of motivation. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm waiting. Lack of motivation.
Okay, so I don't know. Like in my brain, I know that I need to do certain things, and every night when I go to bed, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do these things. But then the next day, I'm like, tomorrow.
It's kind of like me with setting my alarm.
Yeah.
And, oh man, I got so much to do tomorrow. I'm gonna be ambitious, and I'm gonna set my alarm early, and then I'm gonna hit snooze 95 times the next day.
No lie. At least an hour.
All right, so that's not in my notes for that being my struggle. But so your lack of motivation for what? Where do you struggle? How is that a big struggle for you? Why is that the biggest complaint?
Okay, because in my eyes, I want to be a good wife to you, and a good wife, even though not really, but in my mind, a good wife who stays home should get up and fix your breakfast and your lunch like I have done for years. But when's the last time I did it?
I can't even remember.
See what I'm talking about? Like
it's been a couple years. I know it was before COVID.
No, I did it during COVID. It was since we moved.
Yeah. Okay.
It's since we moved, so okay. a year. But anyway, so I know, and I tell myself every night before I go to bed, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna fix his lunch, I'm gonna cook breakfast for him, and then his alarm goes off, and I'm like, I'll do it the next time his alarm goes off, and then his alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh, just shut the alarm up, I'm going back to sleep. So I don't know. That's my biggest struggle. Like I want to do things for you. I want to help you, but then I turn it around and you take it as I make it your fault, which I'm not really making it your fault. I guess I kind of am. I feel like I'm justifying it and I shouldn't. But
so see, we've had this conversation, and that's part of this show is that we have these conversations about where we struggle and how we're going to try to fix things, and the things that don't really bother me. I don't really care whether she fixes my lunch or my breakfast. It's not like I'm headed out the door to work going, "Dadgummit, if she just fixed my breakfast and my lunch," like that's just part of my routine. Is that I get up and I go through my list of things, and if my lunch was fixed from the night before from leftovers, great. That's one less thing, but I grab it and I go. And I don't badmouth her, and I don't think ill of her leaving the house and think, well, the lazy woman, she just needs to get
So
up and fix my
anyways,
lunch.
but how I justify it is his alarm goes off 95 times. So I get up and I cook this breakfast and I think, okay, we'll spend quality time together before work. I don't care what time of day it is. And then I just sit there alone at the table. Bobby, your breakfast is getting cold. Bobby, your breakfast is getting cold. And then he don't show up.
And so okay, so I guess I can add that to my list of struggles is actually getting up in the morning. But like in our schedule, we have so many things going on, and we don't get to bed. Like, we don't actually lay down before 10 o'clock. And then if we if we do get to the bed before 10 o'clock, then something happens. Somebody calls, somebody gets us out of bed, something's going on, and we end up not getting to sleep until 11 or so. And like, it's always something. Maybe Clary doesn't mean late in another language. Maybe it means always something.
Maybe.
So, but then depending on my workload, I may have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I may have to leave the house by 4 o'clock in the morning. But then there's other days where I've still got a lot going on. I'm like, you know what? I'm done this week, and I'm not leaving the house till 6:30, and then try to get a little rest. So what what really helps in that situation is good weather. Lord knows that we've had some really ridiculous weather. It's hot one day, cold the next, hot the next day, cold the next. And, it's a wonder everybody doesn't have pneumonia right now, right?
Yeah.
So, my schedule is all over the place. I don't get but, 4 to 5 hours sleep a night. And so it's hard to get up in the morning. So when the weather starts getting nice, now that the time has changed, then it's daylight. It's much easier to get moving when it seems like it's daylight earlier, and the clock changing didn't change the sun at all. It changed our perspective of when we think it's daylight, uh, when we think sunrise is. So yes, better weather in the mornings is better motivation for getting out of bed and trying to sit and have a cup of coffee or some breakfast. But normally it's go go go.
Also, though, you're more of a night owl. I'm more of a morning person. So.
Yep, I could stay up all night and sleep through morning. That'd suit me just fine. So me, uh, one of my struggles is trying to be selfless with her, because in all transparency, my bride has spoiled me. In 18 years, she has spoiled me rotten. And so sometimes, well, I'll continue to be honest. Most of the time, I take advantage of that she spoiled me. You know, this lady does my laundry. Like, I cook most of the time. There are times where we split the cooking, just depending on our schedules. But most of the time, I cook. But she always cleans the kitchen, or she always takes care of the cleaning. And then there have been maybe a handful of times that I've ever had to actually clean the house. My wife has always cleaned the house, always done my laundry, and always taken very good care of me. So I have been I have been relaxed and been complacent in that area. So I'm pretty selfish most of the time. And she always just kind of yields as, well, whatever you think, or you make the decision. And, so I don't do it on purpose, but that's one of my flaws. And so here's the thing. If you know that you're struggling and that there seems to be an issue in the relationship, then if I see her issue and I bring it to her attention, what does that feel like to her?
Probably an attack.
Straight up, straight up attack.
No matter how you word it.
Onslaught. Yes. No matter how it's worded, no matter what you do, you could present this fault with a bouquet of flowers and chocolates and her favorite things, and just be like, "Here, this is one thing that's bothering me." It would still be an attack. So this is our advice to you in this situation, that you got to realize your own fault, and you got to bring it to the other one's attention. Say, "Hey, look, I want to work on this. Let's sit down and talk. You know, I've noticed this. I've noticed that I'm selfish most of the time. I've also noticed that I have a problem being romantic. Now, I don't have a problem with my horns coming out and things like that, but I have a problem being romantic. I have a problem just sitting and uh, telling her the great things about her and the great qualities of who she is, because I let everything else distract me. I let everything else be an interruption. And so with my kids, I feel like I struggle being a good dad. And, I have to juggle my time of being the only paycheck coming into the home, and I have multiple jobs. My job is to provide for my family. My job is to be a pastor of a church, and my job is to try to make sure that they have everything they need. And then also, in my mind, my job is to provide everything possible that they want, because I want to do my best to make them happy. And I don't feel like I'm trying to buy their love, but it's kind of like my love language is to be the provider of everything. So what about you with the kids? I'm jabbering on and on and on here, and you're just sitting.
Because you're talking so much. Kids. So my struggle with the kids is quality time individually. I spend time with the kids because I'm with them 24/7, but then I don't feel like I get, maybe with the baby because he's more needy. He needs me more. But with
Clingy.
With clingy. With the older two, especially, I feel like I fail in that department. But also, it's hard because, like, if I'm like, Jacob, let's go out and eat, and he's like, Mom, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird for me. It's hard for me to figure out quality time with them individually.
Right. Well, Jacob, he doesn't really think that it's cool to go out with mom and dad.
No.
Now, if dad's on a dirt bike with him, then that's cool because that's right up his alley.
Right.
Or if he breaks something and dad's fixing it, then that's his greatest need. But still, I kind of feel like, hey, don't you want to learn how to do this? Can't you kind of move in here and ask me to move out of the way and, start working on it yourself, and we can hang out together? And there's another part that I struggle with, is that I'm trying to get his truck together, and I've got a short amount of time because November will be here before we know it, and he's going to have a vehicle to drive back and forth to work because he's killing us on fuel.
Yes.
To run him around everywhere. And Allie too. Allie babysitting. She babysits 30 minutes from the house, so now that's become a little bit of a chore. The gas prices are so high, so we get these moments that we have time, but what are we doing to make it quality time? Do we make the extra effort to ask them about their day, or ask them about something that they're struggling with? Give them time to open up to us. And I talked to a very wise man, not long ago, and I'm gonna name drop him right now, Pastor Rod Hickman. And the very best advice he gave me for dealing with my teenage son is to ask him questions that make him think. Uh, if we give them questions that are yes or no, then the short answer is their safe place, and they don't think, they don't put any effort into it. They just make that quick answer and get you out of their face. But if you take the time to ask them a question where they have to give you some sort of an explanation, not where you're beating them down and trying to pry for information in their lives, but you understand that there's a balance, that you don't want to create friction, you want to create quality time. So even in the marriage relationship, ask questions and put the brakes on getting defensive. Take the defense out of it, because you're going to have to ask questions and try not to receive everything as an attack. That's part of our dinner table discussions that are few and far between now, because Jacob's always busy. Seems like Jacob's busier than we are.
Right.
But you've got to be able to have those conversations where you don't get mad. You've got to be open to discussion.
Right. And make sure you bring them up again. Like, wait a few weeks or a month, and then, like, okay, well, let's regroup and see how we're doing in this area. Try not to have the same discussion over and over.
Right.
We need to work on this. And a month later, we need to work on this.
So talk about what needs to be done as far as like expectations. Like, how do you feel that you should set that up? Explain.
I don't really know. I don't know what you're saying. Like, I'm so confused.
All right, so here I am trying to get her to talk, and she shuts down.
Excuse me, sir. I don't understand the question.
So when you have these discussions, work it out on, hey, I see that I have a problem in this area. Help me and tell me some of your thoughts. Tell me, how you've perceived this, and, how does it work for you? Tell me some kind of ways that maybe I can make this better.
Okay, I got you. So kind of like,
and then put an expectation on it.
Yeah.
If we're going to have this conversation again, then we don't have the same conversation, but we continue to build.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and also, like, the things that bother me, if we talk about it, then it doesn't really bother you that I don't fix your breakfast, that I don't fix your lunch.
Right.
But if I didn't talk to you about it, how do I know that?
Right. And so she feels like it's a failure for her, and I'm straight up telling her, hey, look, it's not a failure. To me, it's not a big deal. Like, yes, I like that you try to do things for me. Then telling me that you want to make that effort is great. I get that. And I see it as her continuing to try, because what are we in this for? This relationship has got to work for the entire time. It's got to work from beginning all the way to end. And when it ends is when she or I take our last breath. Because if she tries to leave, she better hope he's got a lot of money in a guest house, because me and the kids are coming too. He better have plenty of money, because he got 5 people coming. So set up a time where you can make this discussion work for the longevity of your relationship, and find the ways to talk to your kids, to even ask them the questions about how they think that you could be a better parent. And they're probably going to give you some cheesy stuff depending on their age.
I don't know. Our kids, like Allie, if we ask Allie how we could be a better parent, she's gonna lay it all out there. Like,
yeah, you're right.
When you said something about trying to be more romantic, and she's like, "Yeah, Dad, you are the worst." Like,
yeah, right.
Go ahead, help me out there, Allie.
Yeah. So, like, it's not that I can't be romantic, but the struggle of trying to live in a tiny house, and you got 4 kids. Romance is, it's not always about sex, but romance is different when everybody is so close and so present all the time. So like there are issues like, okay, rub my feet, rub my back, right?
Yep.
And like I struggle because I'm like, girl, you see these hands? I have worked with these things all day long. And arthritis is setting in. Now you want me to come home and work with my hands. But that's a part of me working on not being selfish, of becoming more selfless, and forgetting about myself and taking care of her. And I saw a meme not long ago, and it was a couple women sitting and having a conversation. They were both pregnant, and one of them said, I'm expecting a boy, and we were so excited to find out that we were having a boy. What were you wanting? And the other one said, I just wanted a back rub. And it's hard to like have feelings and have emotions and be a man, and then you're like, oh, you want me to rub your back? But men, let me just ask you, women, ask your man. I might get some folks in trouble here, but I don't want this to cause an argument, okay? When is the last time that a man rubbed your back without it turning into something? Just a back rub. When is the last time you just got a back rub? And I'm opening this up to me too, because Tiffany.
Never.
So there you go. I mean, no secrets, right? So there are struggles and there are issues where we need to do better, but in this purpose and in this process, we need to make sure that we're receiving this as constructive criticism and not an attack.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we're on the offensive and not the defensive, that we don't just build a wall, we shut down, we start huffing and puffing and our face turns red, and then we say, fine, instead of sleeping like this, then you're like, no, we're sleeping back to back tonight. That's not going to make the relationship grow stronger and better. That's going to start driving a wedge, and that's going to cause problems for the long run. So accept the criticism, accept the things that are going to make it work better for the long haul. What else you got, Tiff?
And also for the women, if your man is not real romantic, you can't get all butthurt about it. Like, you got to just, with him 18 years later, I know come Valentine's Day or birthday or Christmas, Mama ain't getting a present, and I'm okay with it. Like, it's just who he is.
No, Mama gets a present. So she goes, hey, I got this in my cart on Amazon that you can get me for my birthday.
I'm saying, I'm not getting a card or, any, like, other than a kiss. It's not going to be real thoughtful, but I'm okay with it. Like, I don't get my feelings hurt over it. We've talked about it, and you're working on it. He did. We had a weekend away in Nashville not long ago with couples massages. Thank you. So he is getting better, but I don't nag him about it. I don't get my feelings hurt about it.
I'm not a total doink. I mean, there's still some romance in there.
It only comes out once every 10 years or so.
So we're working on it. This show is not to tell you that we're perfect, but it's to highlight the issues that we struggle in so that maybe they don't become such a struggle to you 18 years down the road, right? Thank you for being with us. Thanks for watching. I really tried to prod her into more. Like, I had notes and I was pointing at the paper trying to get her to talk, and she's just like, what?
I don't do good with a script.
So we're working. We're working on it. We're going to get her talking more. She may just actually have a show where I sit and say nothing.
It's going to be real short.
Thanks for watching, y'all. I hope y'all have a great night. And don't forget to watch us every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. And we pray that y'all have a great, wonderful week and keep working on this stuff. We want to see and hear from you. Click in the on the Facebook page and send us an email or something. Tell us some things that are going on, some stuff that we've helped you in, or some things that maybe we can help you in, struggles that we've also had. So keep in touch with us, keep it rolling. We'll see you again next time. Anything else from you, Tiff?
Nope.
All right. That's it. Bye-bye, y'all.